free experiences, like my Bliss Attack, which is what brought this whole
Bliss Attack.
book thing on. Yeah, I didn't have any.
What
I
is
didn't
a
have
Bliss
any.
Attack?
I never had a Bliss Attack in Christianity. I can
What
tell
is
you that.
that?
So, okay, so I was coming off, I was kind of teetering myself with drugs. So at this time, we'll have to go back a little bit. So my mother, I told you about the Christianity thing, got me pissed off because my mother was pronounced terminally ill in 2018, and so it was kind of 2017. So it's kind of a year-long process of kind of watching the mind and body dwindle away, which is a sad and traumatic process, anyways. But what made
Yeah.
it 10 times worse was this notion that she's going to hell, right? So,
Mm.
so every time I was with her, I was full of fear, and it made it so much worse because I could be like a shepherd into the afterlife right now. Just be like, "Mom, you're gonna love it. It's like taking off a tight shoe. You're gonna be out of pain. It's gonna be fabulous." That's who I would be now. Who I was as a Christian was fear and dread, and like you never went to church, and now I have to deal with you possibly in hell, and it's just like it's insane. So I started after she passed, I started really questioning my beliefs and these things that were placed in me both as children and as an adult, these limiting beliefs that may not be true. So I started questioning those. I ditched my pastor in my church and I started seeing a shaman and kind of going these. I started leaving the mansion and started going
The
these
mystical route.
routes. Yeah, the mystical route. Yeah, the yoga, the meditation, the whole manifestation thing, and I started seeing a shaman, and he opened my eyes to a lot of things, and meditation was one of them. And so as I'm deconstructing these beliefs and meditating more, and like taking my care of myself better, just body, mind, and spirit, the whole kind of that's the true Holy Trinity is the body, mind, spirit.
Hmm.
And so all of a sudden one day, like I was still kind of jerking myself around. It's really in the past like 2 or 3 years that I've really gotten my sobriety game in order. But I was kind of jerking myself around a little bit, especially with
Hmm.
drinking. But I hadn't drank at this day. I had not drank or had any drugs in probably about 3 or 4 weeks. I was kind of doing the going back and forth and like binging and
Yeah.
then purging and that whole thing, which
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
still a step up on where I was. I've spent nights on park benches and in jails, so
Oh wow.
yeah, so it was a step up from where I was, but it still wasn't where I wanted to be. But this day, I was just doing a post workout stretch, and all of a sudden, I got overcome by just this wave of love that is indescribable. I can't put words to it. It felt just like I was at home. I call it my near life experience because it's not a near death experience because I was not dead. I wasn't anywhere remotely close to dead. So
Yeah.
this was like this peek into the afterlife that where I could see it, and I was still very much alive and conscious. I was on my I had to go into my bed and lie down. I was on the couch, and this kind of
Oh
overcame me,
wow.
and I just lied on my bed and just experienced this for 3 hours. Three
Three
hours,
hours.
yeah. And so as I'm experiencing all this and all this stuff is I'm feeling this certain way, and I'm getting downloads too, like about truths and about about the religious aspect, and like we're really off as society. We're just completely, like we're on this bad track, and
Hmm.
no one seems to understand how to get it on the right track. And it was like in that moment,
Yeah.
I had this thing's like you can help people try to get this on the right track and kind of and it wasn't in that moment that I had the vision for the book and the system and the 13 rungs and stuff. It wasn't in that moment. It was a different Bliss Attack. But in that Bliss Attack, I knew
Oh, you
my
had
life was
multiple
changed.
bliss attacks.
Yeah, I've had multiple. Yeah, yeah. I have them from time to time. I can't make them happen. They just happen when
Yeah.
they happen.
Yeah.
Um, but I've had multiple ones. And so last one was
When do they
it's
usually come, do you think? Like from your bliss attacks, like what were you doing right before it
I
happened?
don't know.
Oh, you don't even
I can, it's
remember.
different. Well, cause it's
Oh,
different every
it's
time. I
different every
can't
time.
pin down, like I had one, in my room after post workout. I had one, hiking in Sedona. That's where the book
Oh
thing
wow.
came. I had one the rehab center that I was in a couple years ago and they just kind of come out of nowhere. Like, and they just, And so, but they're extremely important because they get me focused on a vision and
Yeah.
get me and so they're really incredible. And the fact that the one came and just showed me how to write a book, I'm like a C+ student on my best day. Okay, but so I am not someone in the classroom that would be like, who in this classroom is going to write a book? I would not be picked.
Yeah.
So it's, and it just goes to show, I consider myself extremely special, but I'm not unique. And it just goes to show like
Yeah, I read
anyone
that.
can tap into that. And that's what I created with the system is like this is a map to have your own bliss attack. So
Okay.
it's created like what I did and what I went through and how I did these things. And so I created an easy to follow map to have your own
Yeah.
bliss attack. And that's what kind of the
Have you
sorcery
heard of
thing is.
Gnosis?
Yes, knowing. Yeah, it's like the knowing. Yeah, gnosis. That's that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that knowing. Yeah.
It sounds like that. They say like the greatest sages and prophets and messiahs, they shared that gnosis where it's like it's the knowing and wisdom that comes from within yourself, or downloads or bliss attacks
Yep.
that, maybe they were influenced by their teachers, but they created new teachings from within. And that's what it sounds like you've experienced.